Hello out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Cossar of Junior Watch. I'm joined here at the Junior Rookie Camp with Marshall McPherson, who is seated in the stands watching the rookies warm up and play. Hey, Marshall, do you have any eye on any of the players here? Skating around, training, anything? Well, Rick, I can't divulge that sort of information, but I can say there's a few rookies here who have impressed me so far tonight. There's some people on the ice that they're quite quick skaters for juniors. Some of them got incredible accuracy with their shots. Like with most juniors, they're going to have to develop every other aspect of their game, but you can see some incredible raw talent here, and these are the people that we're going to be looking at all season. I can guarantee I and the rest of the SHL GMs, as well as the junior GMs, we're all going to be watching them and seeing which one develops the best, and look to develop the right one for each of our respective organizations. Well, Marshall, you came in the Season 5 draft, which arguably has been one of the best drafts in the history of the SHL. The top end talent in that draft, the whole first round, have all stayed mostly active in locker rooms. Their attitude's great. They've all been great players. It was quite a strong draft. Do you think this year's draft is going to be nearly as strong? Well, I'll be quite honest, Rick. I don't see it matching up with the Season 5 draft, but of course the top end talent every year is the same. They're great kids. They're coming in and they're working hard. And if I was going to give any bit of advice to any one of them, is to get your name out there. Make sure people who know who you are. Don't stay in the shadows until draft day. The best players that are taken high up are the ones who are the most active. They're the ones out there getting interviewed. Scoring goals, putting up points, doesn't matter as long as you're active. You're showing it. That you want to play in the SHL. There's been plenty of players who've been great on the ice, and their draft stock dropped on draft day, mostly because they didn't have their name out there. You got to make sure SHL GMs know who you are. You're going to be a good person to have in the locker room. You're going to work hard. You're not just going to sign a contract and coast along hoping for a paycheck to get you through your career. GMs want you to work hard. They want you to work hard all the time. Since I've made it to the SHL, I've been working nonstop to make sure that I have my adequate training every week. That I'm looking into fitness and health and all that, eating right, being in the gym a couple hours a day. I'm doing interviews as much as I can now. With the SHL GM duties, I don't find a whole lot of time to get interviewed anymore. And it's something I miss about juniors is I had a lot of free time to be able to do interviews, talk to you guys, let you know what's going on, how I'm feeling, and that sort of thing. And I think that's what helped me manage to get drafted in the first two rounds. I got my name out there. I sort of made a bad name for myself at the start of my career, and I've worked to rectify that. I think most people have let it go. I've apologized to Ray Lindsay, and I think we buried the hatchet, and it's great. Be able to, bury the hatchet and get on with your career. I played against him in a few games last season, and he's a great guy, and I apologize for, causing shit in the locker room and, that sort of thing. I moved past it, and, we're all enjoying ourselves now. So, I'm not telling the rookies here to go out and screw up the way I did, but just be careful what you say, think before you act, and, do your best, and the best will come to you. Marshall, how do you feel about the SHL? Do you feel an expansion's coming? Well, that's a little bit too early to talk about that, Rick. I don't feel that we're going to expand here in the SHL, but there's been talks of a Russian league starting up, and of course that's not going to have a lot to do with the SHL in terms of gameplay, but it might be an alternate means for for a rookie to go and play in the Russian League while he's awaiting his chance in the SHL, or if there's not room for him on the SHL team. But I think eventually, after we got so many rookies coming into the league, what I think is going to happen is eventually we're going to need another expansion. I don't think it's going to be this season or next, but it most likely in the future will happen. This league is gaining its footing, and it's going to be around for a while. I can tell you that right now. Right now we have 10 teams, and I think probably by season 10 we'll probably have either 12 or 14. But if we have a strong enough draft year after year, you're going to have to make room for all these players coming up, and they're not going to all want to get sent back down to juniors. They're all not going to want to play fourth line minutes, and something's got to be done about that. Well, Marshall, you mentioned the Russian League. What's the talk about this? Well, you see, players can choose to go into the Russian leagues, go to the SHL, or play in juniors. You got more choices than just SHL or juniors right to the SHL, that sort of thing. Or after you're done your SHL career, I don't see a problem with you being able to go over to Russia and play out another season if you wish to. I'm not sure of the specifics yet. It's still in the works, and it's still being worked on, and we're trying to decide the rules and all that sort of stuff with the Russian counterparts. Is there any sort of prospects you have an eye from Russia there, Marshall? Because I heard you took a trip over to Moscow last week to scout a game. Well, there was a player on the ice. His name is Novakov, and I have to say he really caught my eye. I'm probably going to talk to him sometime between now and the start of next season. See if he's interested in coming over here to America, and go from there. Hopefully he will. But along with a lot of Russian players, they don't wish to leave their homeland if they're making money over there. If you come to North America, you're a world away from home, and a lot of Russians don't like that. They want to stay near their families, and I can understand that. Over there, they get quite large salaries as well, and if that's really want to stay, then there's not much I can do about it, but hopefully I can convince the guy he's got an incredible talent for a young kid, and see if I can get him over here in the SHL. Oh, lastly, with your affiliate being the Kelowna Knights now, and Perhonen having a front office job, do you believe he's keeping an eye out on prospects for you? Of course I do. Actually, I hired him as a scout, and his job is to report back on me on any of the juniors he thinks will step it up in the draft, any potential steals, active players in the organization, anybody he thinks that can contribute to the Nightmares winning a Challenge Cup. He's reporting back, giving little tidbits about them. Basically anything that he can give me on them, and we're going to use that at the end of next season to compile a draft list. Hopefully better than we had this year. We sort of just went along as we were drafting, taking a best player remaining sort of philosophy, and I'd rather draft for position and what it needs than do that this year. Well, that's all the time I have. Rick. I got to get hitting into the office. I got a few contracts and other things to look over, budget, all that good stuff that comes along with being a GM. So you have a good night, and I wish you the best of luck. Thanks, Marshall. I appreciate the interview. No problem.